just
I
because we
did
got this.
not.
All right, 7 o'clock, I call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, everybody's present tonight. And we'll get to old business, approval of minutes. The regular meeting minutes of May 4th, 2023 were provided for review. I need a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of May 4th, 2023 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Bueller?
Abstain.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Brungard?
Yes.
Mr. Studnicka?
Yes.
Motion passed. Audience participation. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the council on an item that is not on the agenda? Rob, please come up, state your name and address.
Good evening, Rob Gaslin, Cottonwood Drive here in Lansing, and Fire District Number 1 Board of Trustees. I promised I'd be back. Here I am for a little short conversation with you. When I was here last time, I told you that I had my arm twisted by you folks to be on the Board of Trustees, and I had to write a paper to give to you that answered some questions and provided some perspectives on what I thought I might be getting into on that particular position. And I recall writing down two concerns. The first one is one that you bring up a lot, which is we have taxing authority and we're not elected. And as I thought about that as a board, I mentioned last week we put in a measure of mitigation where the trustees adopt the position of the taxpayers. The chief represents the department and the district, and we have a process set up where that adversarial relationship can work itself out. We also talk to taxpayers. We are taxpayers. We go to your meetings. We go to the township meetings. And I think we get a pretty good perspective. So at least for me, we have mitigated that particular issue as well as we can. And I think it works pretty well. The one item that you haven't mentioned that was in my paper to you is the notion that we are a stovepipe organization. And it's a legitimate critique, I think. A counterexample would be the city of Lansing. So if the police chief wants to have a Porsche for a new command vehicle, and the wastewater treatment people want to have maybe sewer pipes lined with gold and have it be a water park slide or something, you guys get to decide who wins that particular budget battle. We don't have anything like that. It's all a stovepipe. So try to figure out how to mitigate that particular problem. And again, these were things that I thought about on the front end as somebody who really didn't know a lot about the fire district. Before I could work through that, though, we ran into my first budget cycle, and I encountered the legendary 9 mil cap. Didn't know what that was. Came to read Kansas Statutes Annotated 1936-12D. Lots of words that simply say we, as the governing body of the fire district, have the power to levy a tax not to exceed 9 mils, and it goes on to explain how we can and can't do that. So as we worked through that, I realized eventually I was staring right in the face of the answer to stovepipe. We're capped at 9 mils. We cannot exceed that. There's one escape clause to that. We can go between 9 and 11 mils if there's a vote by a majority in the district. But we've never asked for that, not on my watch anyway. And there's been no talk of it and no interest in doing that. Quite simply, we've learned to live within the 9 mil cap. And it has, at least to my reckoning, whether the state legislatures got it right because they're really, really smart or they're really, really lucky, I don't know. But that amount is, to us, an amount that allows us to make mission, keep the two big Pac-Men components of our budget, personnel and equipment, from eating each other, and allows us to be good stewards of the taxpayer dollars in the process. So to us, that 9 mil cap has been our answer to being a relatively stovepipe organization. So others, and I've heard in this room, either from City Council or from people in the townships, others have said that there's a theory that they have that Fire District Number 1 will have to at some point exceed 9 mils. I don't know if that's true or not, but I want you to know that that's not my theory, and it's not the theory of anybody that's a current trustee of the fire district. That's coming from outside of us, and to our knowledge, in the near term, as far as we can tell, that's not going to be necessary at all. Again, we have learned to live within that 9 mil cap. So the next time you have a question, somebody wants, one of your constituents, who are also our constituents, wants to know about the budget or our spending, first we hope you or they will come to the fire district and ask. We're not very far away. And but if that doesn't work, I hope that you can tell them that we are very comfortable within our 9 mil cap. We try to be good stewards of every dollar that we receive from the taxpayers. Everything's focused on making mission, and we welcome any input from you folks, from the folks in the fire district, to include the city of Lansing. And that's what I have to say tonight. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Okay, on to new business. Item number 2 is appraisal services for McIntyre Road Sanitary Sewer Interceptor Project. Valbridge Property Advisors has provided appraisal services for many of the city's sanitary sewer projects, including the 7 Mile Creek Action Plan, 9 Mile Creek Action Plan, the Northwest Sewer Interceptor, Eisenhower Commercial Extension, Ward 1 Upgrade, and most recently Town Center Extension. City staff has discussed the McIntyre Interceptor project with Valbridge Property Advisors and are eager to work with the city of Lansing again. Valbridge has submitted a new contract for the project at a cost of $1,650 per parcel for 12 land appraisals and evaluations. The base cost associated with the appraisals is $19,800 with a not-to-exceed cap of $35,000 should the additional services be needed. So I need a motion to approve the contract with Valbridge Property Advisors for appraisal services in support of McIntyre Sanitary Sewer Interceptor Project, City Project 2021-04, at a base cost of $19,800 with a cap of $35,000.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
What's the size of a parcel?
They vary in size from 2,000 square feet to 160 acres.
Anyone else? No? Call the roll.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Major,
Yes.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Bueller,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mr. Stednicka.
Yes.
Motion passed. Item number 3 is Parks and Recreation Advisory Board ex officio. How do you say that?
Officio.
Officio. Sorry. Kind of put a little extra on that one. Appointment. Former council member Dave Trinkle served as one of the ex officios members of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board and and with his resignation from the governing body, it has created an opening. Councilmember Kevin Gardner is a member of the PRAB and would fill the ex officio role, which in turn would create an open position on the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. So I need a motion to approve Councilmember Kevin Gardner as the ex officio member of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, Kevin, thanks. Call the roll.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Major,
Yes.
Mr. Garvey, Mr. Bueller,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mr. Stednicka.
Yes.
Motion passed. Executive session for economic development. I need a motion to go into executive session for preliminary discussions of economic development activities in accordance with KSA 75-4319B4 for 30 minutes, beginning at 7:10 and ending at 7:40.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second.
Mr.
Call
Gar-
roll.
Mr. Gardner,
Wait,
Yes.
I'm
Mr.
timing it.
Kirby?
Sorry.
Yes.
Mr. Major,
Yes.
Mr. Garvey, Mr. Bueller,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mr. Stednica.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Bueller,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mr. Stednica.
Yes.
All right, we have returned to open session. Next on the agenda are reports. Any department heads? Library, no. Okay. City attorney.
Nothing to report, Mayor.
The engineer is not here. Tim.
So now that the property appraisals for the McIntyre sewer project's getting rolling, hopefully they can have that done in about 45 days. I know in July, if you guys remember on past sewer projects, we always pass a resolution for condemnation in advance, just in case we're not able to come to an agreement. That way that could save us time. And then when the project goes out to bid, we're looking at that being in October. Selecting the contractor, perhaps the first meeting in November. So if everything goes smoothly, we would hope to see that McIntyre sewer project maybe breaking ground perhaps late November. So things are rolling on that. And I put in my report a summary of our ARPA funds that we have remaining. So a lot of that went to high-speed internet projects in Lansing for Clearwave Fiber. And a lot of that has also gone for sewer projects. So, but we have about $817,704 remaining. Also keep in mind, we had talked about using a little bit of that for Landell, to partner with Landell on the water line project. So that number will be going down a little bit. So at a future meeting, we can talk about our match for that McIntyre sewer grant and kind of how we want to do that. So. You all should have gotten invitations Monday, May 22nd from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We're having our ribbon cutting and open house at Bernard Park. So we're going to have Mr. Dixon singing the national anthem. We'll have a ribbon cutting. We'll have a ceremonial first pitch. There will be concessions there. It's really going to be a great event. So please make an attempt to be there. We're really proud of that project. I think it's really going to be a fun night. So. Those are the big things I had, unless there's any questions.
Did you have a hard time? I mean, is the first pitch, has he been practicing? Can he even make it to the plate? You know?
I don't know who's throwing it. Is that me?
You're throwing.
You. I just throw his arm
I've
out.
seen it on the script. Said throw the pitch, but
Didn't say how far away he has to be.
I might roll it. You never know. I'm 63, man. Leave me alone. Okay. Is that it? So we'll go around the horn. Kevin.
Mr. Gaslin, Mr. George, thank you for coming in, and I am very much looking forward to Monday night. That's all I have.
Thanks, Kevin.
I don't have anything.
Marcus.
Yeah, I got a few things. So I'm excited about Monday, the 22nd. And there's been a lot of great work going into that. Tim, I can't thank of you and your staff and everyone who's had a great deal of getting that park out there. It looks amazing. It really does. And the traffic is going really well out there. Hey, thanks, Rob. Thanks again for coming tonight. Thanks for keeping us well informed. I appreciate it. Intersection looks great, and I'm excited about the new oil change place going in. It's coming along, and the dental clinic as well. Moving along. Reminder: Saturday morning, I believe it's at 10 o'clock out at Bernard Park, out at the memorial area. Isn't that where they're doing the brick ceremony?
So I think they pushed that back because it interfered with graduation.
Oh, did it?
So I think is it the first Saturday of June? I
Okay,
believe.
so not this Saturday, but the first Saturday in June.
They just sent that out pretty recently.
Okay, all right, thanks.
I believe it's the 4th.
For June. Okay, all right.
3 June.
3 June. Yeah, 2 Junes on a Friday. That's right. 3 June. All right, thanks. I appreciate it. That's all I got, Mayor.
All right, thanks, Jesse.
Yeah, thanks, Rob, for coming in and sharing your thoughts with us again. We appreciate that. Is there a particular reason we don't use the monument sign in front of the prison anymore? It seems like a waste to have that big old sign where you can post something on it, and there hasn't been anything on it in months.
Yeah, we could look into it.
I
I know.
Anything. I mean, we need volunteers for different areas, you know. I mean, just it seems like a waste to have it sitting there doing absolutely nothing.
I know at one point we even looked into what it would cost to take it down, but since there's electrical in it, and I think it's either on a Department of Corrections easement or a KDOT easement, I mean, we looked into tearing it down and it was a lot more complicated than just knocking it down. But we can look into that. I know when we did the e-sign, we wanted to get away from switching it out every week or something like that because it takes a lot of time. But if there was something we wanted to put on there that lasted a month or so, we might be able
Right,
to.
that's what I mean, something that's gonna be there for a month. would be
Yeah.
great.
Tim,
Even if it's just
schools
a
used
welcome
to
to
use that a lot. I mean,
Oh, okay.
we just, when I was at the middle school,
Yeah.
if we had something going on, we wanted to advertise.
I thought at
They were
one time-
very, very good about letting us use that.
Because
Yeah.
I think you could post like events that are coming up in a month, you could put those on that sign.
Yeah,
You know, like the baseball thing on Saturday, you know,
Yeah.
they could have been on there a month ago, that way
yeah,
people would
that's
notice it.
that's a good point. Yeah, if it's something that far out, I think we might be open to it. We just didn't want to get into phone calls 3 days in advance and then Jim coming in and.
Well, I would almost, it might be selfish, but I would almost say, don't let it be a public use, be a city use only.
Okay. Yeah,
Just
that's a
city
good
information only. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say that we used to use it for volunteers. We
Yeah.
need a lot of volunteers for the fire department. I mean, it lives on volunteers versus the active, so we used to recruit for volunteers all the time through that,
Okay.
because all the traffic going back and forth.
Yeah, we could figure something out to do with that, yeah.
Thank you. That's all I got.
Thanks,
Mr.
Jess.
Gaslin, thank you.
Greg?
Mr. Gaslin, thank you. Sorry, I spoke too early. Hey, it's National Police Week, so Chief, to you and all your officers in the police department, thank you every day for what you and they do. We appreciate it, and I know they do a great job keeping the city of Lansing safe, so thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
And on this day, in 1652, Rhode Island passed the first law in the English-speaking North America, making slavery illegal. And that's all I have.
Okay, thanks. Dan?
Well, Mayor, on Monday, the transportation meeting, the regional transportation meeting set. We've got a copy of the minutes and what they discussed, and I'll be providing that to Tim, put it in our next council packet. The LCPA met on Tuesday. We got the minutes from the previous meeting and the agenda from this one. And the transportation people want to extend the committee for the regional transportation to coincide with the land search. So we do both of those. And I've included all of that with the agenda to Tim
Okay.
for possibly the next agenda working session. You'll get copies of it.
Okay, good. Thanks. Is that it?
That's it.
All right, Carrie?
I have nothing, Mayor.
Okay. Don?
I have nothing, and I move to adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn. Call the roll.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Major,
Yes.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Bueller,
Yes?
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mr. Stednica.
No.
I wasn't gonna go this